You'll have no doubts. First doubt by the question bank. Why? Why? What are you talking? No, no, no. Not at all. Have you understood transfer pricing? So enjoy. How can it lead to inflation? Not at all. Any other question? You have any other question? 25%? That is on foreign e-commerce companies. Correct.
Is that for that so that the large vendors don't have the monopoly and the small vendors can also?
No, no, no. On the other hand, it is because foreign e-commerce companies don't have monopoly. Because if a vendor sells more than 25% of his inventory, that inventory will be deemed to be controlled by e-commerce company. This question also came, I told you, in civil services, prelims. But 25% was not given. The degree to which, it was given. So, where we finished last time? Oh, BEPS. What is BEPS? Base erosion and? If you forget in the exam what is BEPS, only remember, baby ko base pasand hai. You understand? Then you will easily remember what is base erosion and, okay. Have you understood what is base erosion and profit shifting? What does it mean?
Eroding the base.
Which base? That is, if it is, they are routing investments through tax haven, right? So, eroding the base and shifting, that is, they may be shifting base from India to a tax haven country. Now, what you are going to write is how they do it, what kind of policies and practices they adopt to shift the base and erodes the base and shift profits to a tax haven. All right. So please write. What was the last sentence so that there is continuity? Oh, this practice is called base erosion profit shifting. Profit shifting, right? Yes, please write. MNCs, multinational companies may adopt the following practices. To avoid paying tax, in countries other than tax havens. Number one, round tripping. First practice is round tripping, TRIPPING. And second practice may be treaty shopping. Because these are called double taxation avoidance treaties. Agreement means treaty. So treaty shopping. So you are going to now define what is round tripping, what is treaty shopping. So the first, under round tripping, a company may have its office in a country, say India, but it may shift its capital to a tax haven country by setting up a shell company, by setting up a shell company in a tax haven country. Full stop. It may then invest back from the tax haven country into India. Comma, earn profits in India. But not pay tax in India. As it has rooted investments through tax haven country. Okay, read what you have written. I hope all of you understand what is a shell company.
Yes, sir. A nominal company.
Shell company means a company which exists only on paper. Yes. Yes. Without having any registered office or tangible assets. Right? You know Nirav Modi? It is reported, it is rumored and reportedly rumored, but it was correct, that Nirav Modi had set up over 900 shell companies in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a tax haven. Tax rate in Hong Kong is only 9%. Bermuda has 0%. So many countries have 0%. So have you understood what you have written? That the company has its office in India, but it may shift its capital into a tax haven country and set up a shell firm, a firm only on paper, and invest back from that company into India, earn profits in India but not pay tax in India because it has rooted investment through a tax haven country by setting up a shell firm. That is called round tripping. Now let's take a look. What is treaty shopping? This is a practice. This is a practice under which a company may set up its registered office It may register its office in a tax haven country. And set up a subsidiary in another country, say India, so that by routing investments through tax haven country, but earning profits in India, it may be able to avoid paying tax in India. This is the famous case of, please write, this is the famous case of Vodafone, which had its registered office in Cayman Island, C-A-Y-M-N, Cayman Island. But earned capital gains and profits in India. And not paid tax in India. You remember this case? How many of you remember? Vodafone, 9,000 crores. And 2011-12, Pranab Mukherjee as finance minister introduced in India's tax structure a clause called retrospective taxation. That means a company will be taxed retrospectively from a previous date if it had entered into such thing. So it was Pranab Mukherjee. When NDA government took over, it pursued the case to impose retrospective taxation on Vodafone. Vodafone challenged it, and Vodafone won right up to the Supreme Court. And if you remember, there were to be elections in 5 states. Government had to completely abolish provision of retrospective taxation in its tax structure, because along with Vodafone there were 8 other companies, Keynes India, which the amount was very not as much. The highest amount was Vodafone, and there were 7 other companies. All these 9 companies were subjected to paying retrospective taxation. That means tax from a previous date. For Vodafone it was 2007, and government lost the case at each stage in the court proceedings, even up to the Supreme Court. And it won't be wrong to say government was really humiliated. And you know, the smart thing about this government, timing, perfect timing. All right, elections are coming, perfect timing. Withdraw 2,000 rupee notes. It is, these are not that these are soiled, but you must give credit to the government that it doesn't lose an opportunity So there is no such thing called provision for retrospective taxation in India's tax structure, which, as I said, was incorporated by Pranab Mukherjee in 2011-12 when he was finance minister. And it was the provision of retrospective taxation which brought Vodafone and 7-8 other companies under this. And, in India, case goes on for years and years and years. And then, finally, the judgment or arbitration may come. So, you should remember that because of these two practices, round tripping and treaty shopping, what are these MNCs doing? Eroding base and shifting profits to, all right, and in the process, resulting in enormous loss of tax revenues to countries other than tax havens, all right. So start a fresh para. Yes. What? Retrospective taxation. What do you mean? What changes? That means taxing on the basis of, taking into account the previous year's this thing and bringing a company under tax net. Retrospective. What is retrospective taxation? From a back date. Yes. किसको? बरमूडा को फायदा नहीं होगा, पर shall I answer your question in Hindi or English? You take for example Bermuda, where it has zero tax. Take for example Monaco. The per capita income of Monaco is $234,000 per capita income. America's per capita income is $60,000. India's per capita income is $2,000. America's is 30 times India's. Monaco is 4 times America's per capita income. Now, where you have per capita income so high, you don't need to impose tax. A. B. It's not necessary that your income comes from taxation. Your income may come from sources other than taxation. For a long time, Dubai had no taxation. You understand? So, that is why these countries are called tax haven countries. Okay? Now, please start. The world community led by the OECD, has woken up to this serious damage caused by MNCs in terms of substantial loss of revenue, so that a multilateral convention was organized in July 2018. Full stop. This convention had its objective of adopting measures to prevent abuse of double taxation avoidance agreements, by way of BEPS, by way of base erosion and profit shifting. Full stop. All the signatories to this convention, all the signatories to this convention comprising over 130 countries, including India, were required to rewrite, that is revise, to rewrite their treaties incorporating clauses which would prevent BEPS. Full stop. A study conducted by United Nations University World Institute for Development Research in Economics has revealed that profits earned by MNCs as percentage of global GDP have gone up over the years while corporate tax as percentage of global GDP has gone down. The study also reveals that profits earned by MNCs comprised only 2% of the total profits earned by them in tax havens. of the total profits earned by them in tax havens in 1970s. Which went up to 37% in 2019. Start a fresh para. As decided by the global community at the convention held in 2018, comma, India on its part has revised its treaties with some of the popular tax havens like Mauritius, Singapore, Cyprus, and a few others. Full stop. The revised treaties incorporate an umbrella clause called, start an inverted comma, limitation of benefit clause. Limitation of benefit clause. Close the inverted comma, full stop. This clause implies that the benefit of paying lower tax by a company in a tax haven country shall be subject to satisfying the following conditions by the company. Number 1, it must have a permanent office in the tax haven country. Number two, it must have been operating in the tax haven country for a certain minimum number of years. For a certain minimum number of years. 3. It must have some tangible assets in the tax haven country. Some tangible assets in the tax haven country. And number four, it must have a certain minimum number of permanent staff in the company. Full stop. Start a fresh para. Don't worry, I'll give you enough time. Unless these conditions are met, comma, the company can be denied the benefit of paying lower tax in the tax haven country. Full stop. Start a fresh para. India has also incorporated in its tax structure a set of rules called GAR. A set of rules called GAR. GAAR. Put a dash. General Anti-Avoidance Rules. Full stop. These rules lay down that any deal or transaction which may be carried out with the sole intent of avoiding paying tax will be governed by these rules and subjected to scrutiny in terms of deliberately avoiding paying tax. Start the last para. Most importantly, it has been agreed upon by as many as 136 countries, led by the OECD, that MNCs should be subjected to a minimum global corporate tax at the rate of 15%, so that they do not enter into a race with each other for paying as low a tax as possible. As low a tax as possible, full stop. The Council of the European Union which met in December 2022 has approved imposition of a global minimum tax to end the race to the bottom. What a beautiful language. To end race to the bottom. You understand? I give you 12 minutes to read what you have written. Not less than 12 minutes. During this time, as far as possible, casualties to the washroom should be avoided. Your time starts now. read it sincerely, honestly. Of course, sorry, you may just end up by saying, just write. One last thing. No, that is, you should know, you should be, please write modalities. Modalities. Your English should be good. Last line. Modalities. Modalities are being worked out. Are being worked out by various countries. To impose the global minimum corporate tax. I mean, that means you should know it's still not been imposed. Every country is working out modalities. Because it's quite possible, some countries have 8%, it can be topped up to 15%. Some countries already have high, then what do they do? You understand? Page 191, next IAS book. Not this year, I don't know. This year book is I have not seen. I am talking of last year's book. Page 191, you will find more than half a page devoted to global minimum corporate tax. Please read. I mean, don't read under foreign investment, read under taxation. This is what I am saying. Be it this year's book or right. So 12 minutes start now. I am expecting a lot of questions from question bank. If I find some of you not reading, I shall not be happy. For example, guy on my extreme left is relaxing. I am talking about you, not him. He is serious. Casualty number 1.
Some examples of general anti-avoidance rules.
I'll give you example. I presume you would have read most of it, right? Do you have any questions? Sorry? Sorry? Round tripping is that a company has its office in India, say. It may deliberately shift some of its capital into a tax haven country by setting up a shell firm. Shell firm means a firm which may exist only on paper. It will not have any tangible assets there. So through the shell firm, it would invest back into India, earn profits in India, but not pay tax in India because it has routed investments through a shell firm which it has set up in a tax haven country. That is round tripping. Treaty shopping is, it has already a registered office in a tax haven country. It sets up a subsidiary in India. It routes investment through the tax haven country but earns profits in India, but does not pay tax in India. All right? Then I said this is the famous case of Vodafone, which had its registered office in Cayman Island. It had set up a subsidiary in India. This convention held in July 2018, actually the convention, the objective of the convention was how to prevent abuse of the treaty in the form of base erosion and profit shifting. And a very important decision that was taken was that countries would revise their treaties with the tax havens to incorporate clauses like you have written. India has revised its treaty with some of the popular tax havens, and the revised treaties incorporate a clause, umbrella clause. What is that umbrella clause? Limitation of benefit clause. There are four conditions laid down. One, company must have a permanent office. It must have been operating from that country for a certain minimum number of years. It must have some tangible assets, and it must have permanent. You remember I gave you example of Bermuda, Google Alphabet, and I said it earned a profit of $19 billion in Bermuda in 2019 without having any tangible asset and without having any workforce. And as far as the local people are concerned, we are not bothered, but MNCs operating there have a very high profit to wage ratio, means wages are very low, profits are very high. This again is a case study of the United Nations University World Development Institute for Economic Research. All right. Then you have written that India on it. There is another thing also which was agreed upon in the treaty, in that convention. That was, for example, thereafter, India has entered into financial transaction exchange agreements with a large number of countries, including the US. Because if you are exchanging financial transaction information, then maybe while you are not able to find out that this is done for a with the specific purpose of avoiding paying tax, this exchange can help you understand things better. Yes? How? How a country can keep check? Not country. I told you 1982 you had a double taxation avoidance agreement with Mauritius, thereafter with so many countries. Following that convention, India has started rewriting its treaties because we are concerned with what India is doing. Other countries would also have done. In the revised treaties, it has incorporated these clauses, correct? Which means that unless these conditions are met or satisfied, your question is how does a country ensure that these conditions, that of course, the moment these conditions are laid down, then the company itself would become conscious to ensure that unless these, that it can be denied the benefit. Simple as that. Then you have written GAR. Actually, GAR came, if I want to tell you the background, don't write anything. 2010, there was in our tax structure, what was added was, what was to be added was DTC, Direct Tax Code. It took nearly 7 years. April 2017, Jetli incorporated out of that DTC, Direct Tax Code, this clause This clause was incorporated in India in 2010, but not implemented. From 2017 April, this was incorporated in India's tax structure. Now I'll tell you what is this clause. What are these rules? Don't think these rules apply only to MNCs. These rules apply to you, to me, to any entity in India, to an Indian company. How? Very simple. I ask you to give me a check for 10 lakhs and I give you cash. What is the deal? What is the transaction? Why have I given you cash and why have you given me check? Am I trying to convert my black into white? This deal can also come under GAR. Don't think GAR applies only to foreign companies. No. It can apply to any entity and any deal. You have not seen what you have written. Any deal or transaction which may be carried out with the sole intent of avoiding paying tax. So anybody can be brought under the provisions of GAR. In fact, one of the very important criticisms of GAR is that there is no such thing called appellate tribunal. You have been brought under GAR. You should have the right to appeal, right? So GAR has been incorporated as part of India's tax structure in terms of some countries even have SAR, special anti-avoidance rules. GAR is general, anything, you understand? So this, since we were talking about India, we should know that India also has a provision in the form of such rules. Okay? What you have written, honestly, if I tell you, it's very, very, very comprehensive. Books only stop at, books, no book gives us this limitation of benefit clause. Whereas I personally know that right from 2018-19, India, Mauritius and Singapore were the first two countries with which India, because a large chunk of investment comes from these countries, including of course the US, including of course countries like, in fact, if you go by only the amounts, not, the percentage, Saudi Arabia has poured in a little over $2.5 billion. And when we talk of percentage, this is a 500% jump in the, understand? But absolute amount, not so much. So you have countries like Japan, you have countries like, in the Scandinavian countries, they are also pouring investments into India, but you agree that on the first three spots are US, Singapore and Mauritius. All right? So it was important first to, revise treaties with such of the tax havens from where a large chunk of investment is coming. Cyprus, Cayman Island are fast emerging tax havens from where a large chunk of investment has started coming. Okay, so I thought this was yes.
Double taxes are eliminated, sir. After paying taxes by the company, judge these taxes are shared by the both the countries, the US or India.
Means? मान लीजिए इंडिया में, यूएस में, इंडिया में दिया, यूएस में दिया। अच्छा, तो इंडिया में दिया तो इंडिया में दिया, फिर यूएस कहां से शेयर होगा? अगर ये डबल टैक्सेशन अवॉइडेंस एग्रीमेंट है, then the company has a choice to pay tax either in India or in US. अरे भाई, मैंने कब कहा कहाँ करना चाहेगी? जहां वो देखेगी टैक्स रेट लो है वहां करना चाहेगी। एंजॉय करो। यस, बेकार नहीं है। आप कई हिंदुस्तानी से पूछो मॉरिशस जाके कितना एंजॉय करते हैं, सिंगापुर जाके कितना एंजॉय करते हैं। सिंगापुर जरूर जाना, बिकॉज दिस इज वन कंट्री, एज आई सेड, Americans call it police state. You are so safe in that country that, you know, your belongings are lost in a taxi. You just tell your hotel people, sir, in 45 minutes, 1 hour, it will reach you. They have this whole system. No country has it. खराब नहीं है, बहुत अच्छी है। अरे आप, ऐसा है, एक बार मोनाको जाओ, सुनो सुनो, आपको मोनाको घुसने में नहीं दिया जाएगा। पूछिए क्यों? आपको लैम्बोर्गिनी के अलावा कोई गाड़ी नहीं दिखाई देगी। all such luxurious cars, just about an hour and a half from Cannes. You know, Cannes में film festival वगैरह होते हैं, just an hour and a half drive. I mean, you will feel, you will have so much of complex going into that place, because every celebrity has a house there. Every celebrity, even Ambani has. Tomorrow you may become a celebrity. Oh, question bank has quite a few questions. Yes. क्या कह रहे हैं? कौन सी कन्वेंशन? ये कन्वेंशन नहीं है, ये हमने अपनी इन आवर डबल टैक्सेशन अवॉइडेंस एग्रीमेंट्स वी हैव इनकॉर्पोरेटेड दिस क्लॉज. इट्स नॉट ए कन्वेंशन, बिकॉज कन्वेंशन ओनली directed member countries that you should rewrite your treaties in such a way that you are able to prevent base erosion and profit shifting. Compulsory for whom? Yes, compulsory. If India finds that a certain company has routed its investment from Mauritius, but it doesn't have a permanent office in Mauritius, it doesn't have a certain minimum number of permanent staff in Mauritius, it doesn't have any tangible assets in Mauritius, then India can deny the benefit of paying low tax by that company in Mauritius, and it can impose a tax in as per Indian tax laws. मुझे क्या पता, आप उससे क्या रिसर्च करोगे उसमें? हाउ इफेक्टिव? देख, इफेक्टिवनेस तो पता है किसमें होती है? इफेक्टिवनेस इज इन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. If you ask me, what is effective? It is in implementation. How best you are able to implement a certain thing. It is said that India is very good in planning, but very poor in implementation. Japan is very good in planning as well as implementation. Here you find a road construction or a patch of road taking 15 days. In Japan, you get up in the morning, night it was right, morning it is over. Japan is Japan. Enjoy. All right? Okay. Question bank has still some questions. Umbrella. Umbrella means chhatri. Tell me one thing. बारिश हो रही है, आपने छतरी पकड़ी हुई है, मैं भी छतरी के नीचे आ सकता हूं ना? योर क्वेश्चंस आर, पता है आपके क्वेश्चंस कैसे मुझे इंप्रेशन दे रहे हैं कि सर इस छत के ऊपर बंदर नाच रहे हैं, अगर ये छत गिर गई हमारे ऊपर तो हम तो क्लास से भाग जाएंगे. इतना यूटोपियन थॉट्स मत रखो, इतने हाइपोथेटिकल हो, एंजॉय करो. Life is to relax and enjoy. Okay, so have we finished all the subheads? I think there should be. Yeah, we should finish this very quickly. Measures adopted to promote FDI. But honestly, I would like some of you, while I am going to give you quite a few, I would like some of you to use your common sense. What is it? Not having. Listen to me, I have not completed. What I have said is something very simple. I have said that while I am going to give you quite a few of the measures that we have adopted, use your common sense to tell me, sir, these are the measures, because in our discussion on FDI, I have already given you a few things. You understand what I have said? No. Okay, I ask you a question. To, bring more and more sectors under automatic route? It's a measure. Yes or no? To raise caps? It's a measure. You know why I am saying this? Because sitting in the exam, few things should strike you immediately. Right? Then, very simple. Procedural simplification. Yes or no? Because unless you have these, you will not be able to promote, and these are some of those which should strike you immediately, so that you get a kick start to give an answer. Okay, quite a few of them I'll tell you, but let me tell you, they are very simple. So if you start right from 91, so just make a note of 1, 2, 3, 4. What are measures that we have adopted? Some of them, a couple of them may be technical, which I'll explain. But first, of course, is convertibility of the rupee. Convertibility of the rupee. First, just write. Whichever is not clear, we'll explain. Convertibility of the rupee. Number 2, India joining the WTO. Number 3, FARA, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. FARA. Has Professor Vibhash done FARA with you? FARA amended into FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. I would just tell you briefly what it is, but Professor Vibhash will give you, because this is, he has to explain to you in details. FARA amended into FEMA. 4, MRTP Act. FARA amended into FEMA. Both of them, MRTP amended into Competition Act and FARA into FEMA, came in the year 2000. Both of them. MRTP Act amended into Competition Act. 5, procedural simplification from time to time. Procedural simplification from time to time. 6, expansion of the automatic route. Of the automatic route. 7. Raising caps in different sectors. Eight, India becoming a member of MEGA. Put a dash. I'll give you the full name. Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. Next, relaxation of labor laws. Next, setting up National Investment Facilitation Agency. Next, setting up of foreign investment facilitation portal. Foreign investment facilitation portal for single window clearance. And next, setting up a dedicated FDI monitoring cell in the Ministry of Commerce. All right. You can always, always add on your own what states are doing by setting up, by organizing conclaves and all, They want to promote foreign direct. That is the state level. So now from number 1, what have you written? I want to ask you, how is it that convertibility of the rupee is a very important measure to promote FDI, or for that matter, foreign investment? Who can explain what exactly this means? Yes.
Let's say if somebody invests and earns in rupee in India, then if they want to invest in some other country, it has to be convertible into some other dollar or some other, so that it becomes very likely for the shares.
The convertibility of rupee defines the exchange rate at which the
I'll tell you something very simple, very simple. Foreign investment means foreign investors, they bring dollars, pounds, euros, yen, hard currencies as they are called, to invest in India. Yes or no? Once they bring dollars, pounds, etc., do they invest dollars or they invest rupees? Rupees. So they convert dollars into rupees, or yen into rupees, pound into rupees, euro. Correct? Say yes or no. They earn profits in rupees or dollars? Rupees. Correct? If they do not have the liberty to convert rupees into dollars at the prevailing market rate of exchange, will they come to India? You have asked them, they have brought dollars, you have given them rupees in return to invest in India. They have invested rupees, converted dollars into rupees, invested rupees, earned profits in rupees. They should have the liberty to convert these rupees into dollars, because this is what they want to take into their country. This is called convertibility of the rupee. Perhaps you do not know, up to 1991, I am sure some of you would have heard a term called hawala. What is hawala? That up to 1991, and in fact I would say up to 92, even after reforms, we gradually reached. RBI, there was an exchange rate fixed by the RBI. But there was an exchange rate which was the market rate of exchange. Correct? You are an exporter. You have earned dollars abroad. Correct? When you would bring them back to India, you will get rupees as per the RBI's exchange rate. Whereas you could get much higher if you were to in the market. So hawala is what is called clandestine dealings in foreign exchange. So I am an exporter. I would tell my buyer abroad that you please under invoice. I am earning dollars worth 1 lakh, but I am showing dollars that I have earned worth 80,000. So $20,000 go into, I am using to convert into rupees in the free market. This is called illegal transactions. This was prevalent in India pre-91 because India was not convertible. So 92, as we had economic reforms, first thing first, it was trade convertibility on trade account, then it was convertibility on current account, then convertibility on capital account. All these things, I am sure Professor Vibhash, when he takes up capital account convertibility with you, I think in the context of external sector discussion, he'll tell you all about capital account convertibility. This is capital account, that you have earned rupees in India, you want to convert rupees into dollars, and you should have the liberty. You are a foreign investor. If you are not, don't have this liberty, will you bring your dollars? Simple. I would say that was the first step to open Indian economy to foreign investors. I hope everybody has understood. But I am not giving you the precise definition of convertibility, because we say capital account full convertibility means we still don't have full convertibility in India. Let me tell you something very simple. I want to go abroad. I am restricted to carry a certain minimum number of US dollars or pounds. Right? That means there is not full convertibility. I ask you a question. I want to carry $1 lakh abroad. I am not permitted. India doesn't have full convertibility. But it has convertibility on a large number of capital account transactions. But not this kind of a thing, that you are going abroad for pleasure or leisure and you can carry any amount of dollars. Most countries have this, free convertibility, no restriction. Do you understand? Okay. More of this, Professor Vibhash will tell you what is part capital account convertibility. We have part capital account convertibility. Yes. What? Forex?
Forex charge for transferring.
Forex charge for? Forex charge for? For example?
Like he is saying
Their money changes now. So, yeah, no, multi-currency card is a different thing. I have two cards. That's not a problem. That is called, these are called forex cards. You can go to a bank, get a forex card, load money. You have to load money. Load, you understand, no? You have to load the card. And you must have your own account. For example, if it is a card in my wife's name, I cannot transfer money from my account to my wife's forex card. Should be from your account. I have forex cards. What are you saying? I have not understood. Worth? Easy accessible, but to a limited extent. This is what I am saying. You cannot carry more than $10,000 abroad. This is what I am saying. Can you carry a limited amount of dollars abroad? I am asking you. No, you cannot. So that is convertibility, but on large number of capital account transactions for foreign investors, they are converting what capital that they have earned, right? But capital account is a huge, so many transactions come under capital account. I am not wasting my time and your time, because this has to be done by Professor Vivash. There is no way this can be escaped, and he does it very comprehensively. There was a committee set up to have that we should have full capital account convertibility. A committee said no, right, so on. Anyway, so that's one. Yes.
If a foreign investor wants to invest in India but hundreds of crores, will we bring currency in hard form?
Repeat your question. He wants to buy bonds. He wants to invest in bonds.
No, sir. I was asking that अगर कोई foreign investor है और वो 100 crore का investment करना चाहता है
कहाँ, किस में?
इंडिया में, तो वो
100 करोड़ तो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर के लिए कुछ भी नहीं है.
100,000 crore
हाँ, 100,000 करोड़ भी उसके लिए कुछ नहीं.
ये डॉलर हार्ड फॉर्म में लेके आके एक्सचेंज करवाएगा यहाँ पे कन्वर्ट.
हार्ड फॉर्म में लेके आएगा मतलब? जस्ट ए मिनट. आपको क्या तकलीफ है, किस फॉर्म में लेके आएगा? आप एंजॉय करो. अरे भाई, टुडे इन द डिजिटल वर्ल्ड आप कहते हो हाथ में लेके आएगा, यूं आएगा. कौन कर रहा है ऐसे? पर आप क्यों परेशान हो रहे हो? वो जैसे भी लेके आए, आने दो. डॉलर ही तो ला रहा है. ऑल राइट. व्हाई आर वी सिटिंग ऑन दिस पॉइंट? आगे चलो. व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट वन? इंडिया. यस, इंडिया ज्वाइनिंग. ऑफ कोर्स, the fact that India joined WTO, one of the agreements in the WTO is open your investment to a country to foreign investors. Next, let's not sit on a, yes, yeah. Now, just in brief, I tell you, very brief. Details Professor Vivash has to give you under industry. 1973 this act came, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. I ask you a question of common sense. Did we have enough foreign exchange in 73? No. India not even opened its economy. So any violation of foreign exchange would attract very harsh penalty. Harsh penalty means imprisonment straight away. I'll give an example. You are an importer or you are an exporter or an industrialist, you are using foreign exchange. Somewhere you have, wrongly conveyed the amount of foreign exchange that you have earned or you have, given, right? This was treated as a very serious offense. So we used to say, FARA was a very draconian legislation, very harsh legislation. Now use your common sense. If India has joined the WTO and if you have to open your economy to foreign investors, can this is it conducive to globalization? No. So in the year 2000, FARA was amended into FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act, which means FEMA is a very investor-friendly act under which even if you have violated foreign exchange rules, you can get away by compounding your offenses, giving penalty in terms of money. I mean, imprisonment comes in the end. Whereas under FARA, the moment you are found violating FARA, you are straight away behind the bars. Even if you start pleading, no sir, please listen to me, they'll say, first behind the bar, we'll listen to you. You understand? I'm sure Professor Vibhash has to deal with this in details. Similarly, MRTP Act 1969. I mean, this was an act where the moment a company acquires more than 25% of the market share, it would automatically come under MRTP, and MRTP Commission would ask the company to stop production. All right? This is not conducive to, so Competition Act says size doesn't matter. So long as you are not adopting practices to prevent fair and free competition. Both of these legislations, there is no way Professor Vibhash will not explain. They come under his, this thing, under industry. Next. That I don't have to explain. Next. I don't have to explain. Yes. Clear. Next. Yeah, you need to write. What is MEGA? Please write. MEGA is a subsidiary of the World Bank. MEGA is a subsidiary of the World Bank. Set up in 1988. Full stop. Its objective is to guarantee and protect interests and assets of foreign companies operating in a country against non-commercial risks such as destruction of their property, due to mob violence, communal attacks, terrorist attacks, and such other non-commercial risks. Full stop. Have you understood? India was not a member of MEGA till the year 2000. 99 to 2004 was Vajpayee government. I remember very distinctly Vajpayee made a statement that we should have become a member of MEGA a little earlier. I ask you a question. in India, you have mob violence, you may have communal riots, you have right, and property of a foreign company is destroyed, assets are destroyed. If India is not a member of MIGA, right, that company doesn't stand compensated under MIGA. Do you understand? So once a country becomes a member of MIGA, that means it is guaranteed and compensated because India is a member of MIGA. Perhaps some of you should know, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, when it first came to India in early 90s, it came for the first time in Bangalore, if I remember correctly. Its entire property was vandalized by mobs. Go back, foreign kind of a thing, that time. So any such thing, if it happens, post India joining the MIGA, becoming a member, means it stands guaranteed and protected through this body. Okay, I told you it's a subsidiary of the World Bank and it was set up in 1988. I must admire America because 1986 America started its efforts to set up the WTO. Anything in the world takes place because America wants it, right? Believe me, right? Your World Bank president is chosen only by America. Sardaji has come. Yeah. Unless America approves, nothing. So 86 efforts to set up WTO began. It took 9 years for the these efforts to culminate in the form of WTO. It started at Punta del Este, Uruguay, right? And 9 years it took for the WTO become a reality. All right. America could foresee that WTO is going to come. So 1988 this body was set up. Yeah. So next, tell me.
Relaxation of labor laws.
That's fine. That's a general statement. Next.
Setting up national investment facilities.
Yeah, this is actually, this one, don't write anything. I have given you this so that sometimes you get a question, you should be able to answer. It's a very simple question. This body actually is called Invest India. This body, Invest India. Short name of this body is Invest India. In this body, it was set up in early 2000. 51% stake shareholding is of FICCI. I hope you know what is FICCI. Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. It's a representative body of the industry. 51% stake is of FICCI and 49% stake is of the Government of India. It was set up in early 2000, I think 2001 or 2003, right? Because this is a body which has constant interface with foreign companies to redress their grievances and problems. That is which I ask you a question. Foreign investment, it impacts what? The industry sector. So FICCI took the initiative to set up this body having 51% shareholding of FICCI, 49% of the, so it's a joint sector of the Government of India and FICCI. Every year, I think once in 2 years, this meets in Vigyan Bhavan daily, all right, to take stock of the proposals or the problems of the FDs, of foreign companies. The last two that you have written, they are given in the economic survey also, that government has set up foreign investment facilitation portal for a single window clearance of proposals of foreign companies. And you have also written that there is a FDI monitoring cell set up as a dedicated cell in the Ministry of Commerce to constantly monitor problems associated with foreign direct investment. I gave you this because somewhere, A, it's an easy question. B, you should know that these have been some of the important measures to promote foreign direct investments. Okay? Yes.
Who will pay the interest by the
Who? What?
Sir, he is asking to
Exactly, it is that body,
mega.
mega. Because that mega, you are a bod, it's like saying you are a member of mega. Now it is mega, right? So now we are left with FPI, foreign portfolio investment. We finish FDI. I told you, FPI will not take us more than half an hour maximum, right? So FPI, please note down. There are three things you have to do in FPI. Unlike FDI where so many subheads, FPI has just three subheads, very simple. Number one, routes to attract FPI. ROUTES. Routes to attract FPI. Number two, what are P notes? P dash notes, participatory notes. P notes are called participatory notes. This question has already come in civil services. Short question came. What are participatory notes? And three, what is Tobin tax? Tobin, TOBIN. Shall we start? So, three routes to attract FPI. There are three routes to attract. First is, you all know, from foreign institutional investors. First route is the predominant. Most of the FPI comes in India from whom? Foreign is, I have already defined. I have already do hybrid mix of pension funds, so on. This is the predominant route. So we have done this. Any doubts? Most of the FPI comes from foreign institution. Second route is called, this is called GDRs oblique ADRs. Global depository receipts. Global depository receipts. Oblique American depository receipts. Global depository receipts oblique American depository receipts. Please write about GDRs first. When an Indian company may decide to sell its shares in European countries through banks and European stock markets, subject to permission by the SEBI in India, as well as regulators, stock market regulators stock market regulators in European countries. It will be called Global Depository Receipts. Full stop. That this implies that trustee of the depository in the European stock market would issue a receipt to the Indian company indicating the dollar oblique pound oblique euro value of shares sold by the Indian company. Read to understand what you have written. I'll explain, of course. Have you understood? Explain.
So an Indian company, I go to Europe for some time, they take the value and they can give in their market, they will give the receipt that take one share exchange or whatever share. That
I asked you a question now. I'll make things very simple for you. Very simple. What is foreign portfolio investment? Foreign institution investors, subject to their registration with the SEBI, are allowed to come and invest in the Indian stock market. Correct? Listen to me carefully. I am making things very simple for you. What do they bring to India? Dollars, pounds, euros, so on. Convert them into? Correct? Take it the other way around. Here is an Indian company which, subject to permission by, unless SEBI permits, Indian company is not allowed to. Subject to permission given by the SEBI in India, and regulator in the countries is allowed to sell its shares in the European stock markets. The modus operandi, the way it sells is either through banks. Normally it is through banks transactions, but ultimately it is the stock market where the shares are being traded. So the trustee of the depository, most of you may be confused, what is a depository? I ask you a question. Have you heard of DMAT? What is a DMAT account? DMAT account is given, your account number DMAT is given by the depository. Do you know how many depositories in India we have? Two. Central Securities Depositories and National Securities. Central is for Bombay Stock Exchange, National is for National Stock. Who is doing stock market with you? Capital market? Is it Professor Reddy? I don't know. Right? So, you have depository. So, without demat, you can't even trade in shares. So, the trustee of the depository in those European stock markets would issue a receipt to this Indian company, say Reliance. That receipt would indicate the pound, euro or the dollar value of the shares sold by the Indian company in European stock markets. But don't forget, the underlying value of these shares is in Indian rupees because it's an Indian company. Correct? So that is called GDRs. Same thing when you use America, it is called ADRs. 1996-97, I think GDRs came first because America was not even permitting Indian companies to sell shares. I think it started permitting in 2003 or 4. So GDRs are European stock markets, ADR is American stock markets. Now I ask you a question, simple. Here is Reliance Industries, which has sought permission from the SEBI in India to canvass and campaign for its shares to sell them in the to European investors. Obviously, it would have to indicate to the SEBI that why does it need these dollars, these euros, these pounds. Maybe it wants to import something, right? So for all purposes, any such investment can also be treated as FDI, because I told you, FPI more than 10% will be treated as FDI. So this is the second popular route, but predominantly, as I said, FPI comes through foreign institutional investors. Is that clear? This is the second route. Third is again very simple. Third is overseas corporate bodies. In fact, third third is offshore funds. Offshore, OFFSHORE. Offshore funds and overseas corporate bodies. We call them OCBs. Very simple. Don't even need to write. In fact, most of these overseas corporate bodies are owned and run by non-resident Indians. All right? So they may be investing in India, not as individuals, but through these overseas corporate bodies in the Indian stock market. Because I told you that individuals were allowed to invest in India only from 2014. So many of the NRIs may have set up some such bodies to invest in the Indian stock market. This is the least important route. So three routes means predominantly FIIs, next is GDRs and ADRs. So that was one. Now let's take a look, what are P notes? I am giving you definition, let me see how easy this is for you. These are offshore, OFFSH, offshore derivative instruments. Offshore derivative, I am giving you the language of the Commerce Ministry. These are offshore derivative instruments issued by FIIs, foreign institution investors, and foreign brokerage firms. Foreign brokerage firms to such of the foreign investors who wish to invest in the Indian stock market. but do not want to be regulated by the SEBI in India. Full stop. In simple words, now I am giving you the simple definition. In simple words, participatory notes are issued by FIIs to such of the foreign investors who want to invest in India but don't want to be regulated by the SEBI. Full stop. Thus, out of their own shareholdings, comma, FIIs may sell some shares to such unregulated investors and issue P notes indicating the value of shares sold to such investors. Full stop. However, physical possession of shares continues to be with FIIs. Very simple. Read now. I made it very simple for you. Shall I explain? It's so easy. You are a foreign investor. You want to invest in the Indian stock market, but you do not want to be regulated by the SEBI in India. So you are in constant touch with foreign institutional investors as well as foreign brokerage firms so that you can buy some shares of Indian companies through them. So out of their own shareholdings, FIIs may give some shares to such unregulated investors and issue a P note indicating the value of shares out of their own shareholdings given to such investors. Correct? So, but physical possession of shares continues to be with FIIs. Now I ask you a question. In fact, every month, Indian Express, either in the front page or where you have economic news, they give a small box news. What is the total amount of shares, value of the total shares sold by FIIs in the form of P notes? I ask a simple question, very simple question. Answer this question. At any given point of time, let's say P notes account for 40% of total FII shareholdings. Another situation is P notes may account for just about 15% of the total FII shareholding. Tell me the difference between the two. Let me simplify the question. Out of their own shareholdings, FIIs have issued 40% of their shares, value of shares to such investors. Another situation would be, it may be just 15%. What would be the difference between these two? No. If it is 40%, my dear, this is dangerous, risky, because these are not regulated by, they may sell and stock market will plunge. This happened in 2007 because a little over 50% of their own shareholdings were issued in the form of P notes. For 6 months together, newspapers are full of criticism of SEBI. That why should SEBI not ban P notes? I mean, just by a stroke of pen it can ban. But then SEBI has always been apprehensive that if it bans, it may even drive out FIIs. So it started regulating and restricting issuance of P notes by FIIs. The latest figure is about 11% of the total, which is in absolute figures about 96,000 crores of the total FII's shareholdings. All right? Because I told you, these may be investors who are very wealthy. They are not even regulated in the US. They are very wealthy people who may have set up some funds. For example, as per SEBI's regulation, even if it doesn't regulate and register them, it has directed FIIs that, okay, you should at least disclose the identity of some of these who have to whom you have issued P notes. Some of the popular, because some of them are called hedge funds, and some of the popular hedge funds operating in the Indian stock market, Tudor hedge fund, Capital hedge fund, Platinum hedge fund. So P notes actually are issued to unregulated entities by FIIs out of their own shareholding. Now it's a different thing that obviously if they are sold to such entities, they may also be earning some premium, the FIIs themselves. All right? Okay. This question has already come in the civil services. What are P notes, participatory notes? They are always in the news. Yes.
What is promissory notes?
Promissory note is what Professor Vibhash will tell you. Promissory note is, if you have taken loan from me, you issue a promissory note. That is to, authenticate that you have taken loan. Promissory note is used in monetary economics. So one last thing, Tobin tax. Which tax? Yes, yes. Increase in Fed rate. Fed rate means rate of the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States. Correct. No, not at all. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Fed rate of interest, if Fed raises its rate of interest, capital will fly out of emerging economies to America. Yes, it may have nothing to do with P notes, nothing. That is the flight of capital, because investors will look to get more return in terms of investing in the US. Yeah, it can impact Indian stock market and stock markets of emerging economies. Very correct. With inflation, a rate of interest will increase. Correct. Yes. Correct. Absolutely. That actually has been happening also. I think in its latest meet, Fed has given a pause to, it has not raised interest further. Right. So that is it. That is a given fact. That's a given fact that capital flocks to, yes, from emerging economies.
When you sell shares, it is company or somebody else?
Means?
If I have taken a license share, so when people start selling the shares, they sell it to the company or somebody like third party? Because 40%.
Forget about it. Supposing I have shares for Reliance, I will sell it to company. I will sell it to you, to him. And these are all transactions are done by through, shall I say, your trading account. For example, I have my trading account with HDFC stocks, correct? Where you have your, what is called, dedicated person who just ring up that I have these shares, buy these much of shares from me. This dialogue between me and him is being recorded, right? He calls me back. We put down the phone, he calls me back. Sir, you asked me to buy shares of this company or sell shares of this company. It is again recorded so that there is no, deceit in this transaction. So, you don't even have to go to, straight away you call your broker. Everything is done.
So somebody else will be keeping the share, then what is the problem with 40%? Even if people start selling the shares, somebody else will.
What is your problem? Enjoy, na? Now, I am talking of peanuts, he says somebody else may be keeping. Who somebody else? Professor B. Singh? Relax. Please write. Tobin tax. The name of this man was James Tobin. Don't write. Let me tell you what he was saying. He was a Nobel Prize winner. In late 70s, won a Nobel Prize, and he advocated this tax. Now, why? What was he saying? According to him, in fact, 1999, when you go through civil services papers, 1999 full question came on Tobin tax. Of course, that was the backdrop of East Asian crisis. Anyway, so what was this man trying to tell us or tell the world? According to Tobin, there should be a tax imposed on foreign exchange transactions from one country to another, particularly those foreign exchange transactions which are in the form of portfolio investment. Because portfolio investment involves speculation. I told you it's called hot money, you remember? So he was of the view that capital flying from one country to another in terms of foreign exchange, right, having speculative character can cause, turbulence in financial markets. It's like saying if capital flies from India to Korea or China or Singapore or Hong Kong, Indian stock market would suffer, right? So he advocated that there should be a tax imposed on such foreign exchange transactions, particularly in the nature of portfolio investment, because this investment is speculative in character and can cause volatility and turbulence in financial markets the world over. So he was of the view that if we impose a tax at the time such investments come into a country, as well as at the time they exit a country, this would bring down the extent of speculation, right? Now, what he said was, it had some substance, but I ask you a question. If such a tax, unless, let's say India has such a tax, but China doesn't have such a tax, then India becomes a less preferred destination than. So unless this tax is universally imposed, it will not find favor with countries. So, while it has merit, and let me tell you, a staunch advocate of this tax in India is none other than one of our ex-governors of RBI, Y.V. Reddy. If you were to attend a seminar of Y.V. Reddy, context or no context, reference or no reference, he will bring in Tobin tax. You understand? So have I made myself clear? Have you understood what is Tobin tax? It's a tax advocated by Nobel laureate James Tobin, which should be imposed on cross-border foreign exchange transactions, particularly which are in the nature of portfolio investment, because this investment is speculative and the nature of hot money, which has potential to cause volatility and turbulence. So that's, I have given you the gist of this. So you can just write. This tax was advocated by Nobel Prize winner James Tobin. Nobel Prize winner James Tobin. This tax was advocated by Nobel Prize winner James Tobin in the 70s. Full stop. According to him, there should be a tax imposed on cross-border means from one country to another. This was the language used by him. Cross-border foreign exchange transactions particularly those which are in the nature of portfolio investment. As this investment is speculative. Full stop. Such a tax should be imposed to prevent speculation and it should be imposed both at the time when such investments come into a country as well as when they exit a country. Full stop. Such a tax will not only stabilize financial markets, reduce turbulence, as well as bring revenues to governments. Full stop. While such a tax may have merits, comma, most countries do not favor such a tax. Most countries do not favor such a tax because it has to be universally applicable. It has to be universally applicable. Otherwise, a country which has such a tax may become a less preferred destination than another which does not have such a tax. Full stop. Most countries, therefore, adopt a regulatory regime such that while inflows are regulated, outflows are restricted. Have you understood the last para? I ask you a question. India, I told you 15% short-term capital gains tax. If you sell within 1 year, 15%. If you sell after 1 year, 10%. Then I think you should also know that all FIIs put together, their shareholding in a company cannot be more than 24%. You remember I told you the other day the difference between 24 and 26. All FIIs put together, their shareholding in a company cannot be more than 24%. A single FII's shareholding cannot be more than 15%. Earlier it was 10. I think 3 years back they raised it to 15%. So you are regulating inflows, you are restricting outflows by imposing capital gains tax. So this was actually, I told you, I think when we started foreign investment, I said that most of what we learn in the class in terms of foreign investment is not what you can get from books. All right? And it's only after you have done it in the class that reading books becomes much more easier. So we may be into our last topic, which would be inflation, but obviously it can't be started today because you are not fresh, I am not fresh. All right? So tomorrow with a fresh mind we start with our last topic, inflation. All right? Very, very important because pandemic and subsequently most countries are struggling with inflation. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay.